God, am I even gonna like upload this? I don't even know. I never not upload videos, but this could just be a mess. But I mean, maybe like disclaimer, maybe this should be a disclaimer for like, hey, this is mental illness at its realness, guys. Like, I'm so sweaty. It's very hot in here. But yeah, this is just my reality. Like this current episode has been like 2 weeks in the making, and I have not been getting a lot of sleep. And apparently I have talked a lot. So thank you for being a voyeur into what mental illness in America looks like today. Hey everyone, it's Rylan. It is 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I did that. It's 1:23 in the morning. It's August 1st, 2018. And I'm here to talk specifically about bipolar disorder. I have never talked about bipolar on my channel, even though it is the first mental illness that right? No, I'm sure I had more before that, let's be serious. But it was the first mental illness that I was ever diagnosed with and began to get help with. And I've never talked about it on my channel. A lot of my videos have focused on borderline personality disorder, which I think the only reason that I've talked about that and continue to talk about it is, I mean, that's been what's affecting my life these past, like, couple years. It's been, like, borderline central up in my life. But my bipolar symptoms have begun to manifest themselves in my life, unfortunately. So I figured what better time to talk about them than when it's happening. So here I am. So I'm going to focus right now on mania. I've literally tried making this video, I want to say at least 4 times, but because my brain is basically scrambled eggs right now, like I can't stay focused. So I'm just going to say, Rylan, you're going to talk about mania. And then maybe I'll make a part 2, which is focused on the depression that comes along with bipolar, because bipolar depression is different than just like depression on its own. So we'll see what I can accomplish. So basically, bipolar means 2 polars. Bilingual, bicycle, bisexual, 2, bipolar. And so obviously there's the depressive side of this disorder, and then there's the other polarity, which is mania. I want to talk about what the symptoms for mania and hypomania are. So, all right, basically this is what it says. So the symptoms that I'm going to read, all 7 of these, I guess, have to have lasted at least a week, if I'm reading that correctly. And if not, I don't care. Here they are. Here's the 7 things that classify as a manic or hypomanic episode. 1, inflated self-esteem or grandiosity. 2, decreased need for sleep. Example, feels rested after only 3 hours of sleep, or in my case, 4. 3, more talkative than usual or pressure to keep talking, also called pressured speech. 4, flight of ideas or subjective experience that thoughts are racing. 5, distractibility, i.e. attention too easily drawn to unimportant or irrelevant external stimuli. 6, increase in goal-oriented activity, either socially at work, school, or sexually, or psychomotor agitation. And 7, excessive involvement in pleasurable activities that have a high potential for painful consequences. Example, engaging in unrestrained spending sprees, sexual indiscretions, or foolish business investments, aka gambling, having sex with a lot of people, or spending a lot of money that you don't motherfucking have. So those are the symptoms. Now, I want to say, if I'm looking at these, all of them have shown up at least like at one point. But what I was saying about the difference between mania and hypomania is there's 2 different types of bipolar. There's bipolar 1, which is categorized by having full-out manic episodes, and then bipolar type 2 is having hypomanic episodes. The only really difference between the two is just the severity of the symptoms and how greatly they like basically derail your life and how much they impact your ability to function on a daily basis. So I have bipolar type 2, which means that I have the hypomanic episodes. So, I mean, I guess we can go down the list, but not really because I don't experience that, so who gives a shit, right? The main thing, so here's my marker for I'm starting to go down the rabbit hole of a manic episode is starting to begin, is decreased sleep. Normally, I get like 8 hours of sleep a night. Sometimes 10 if I'm really lucky. Yeah, like 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere within there is normal for me. I'll notice things are start to go south when I start getting into the realm of like 6 hours of sleep. I'll be like, okay, that's, whatever. Take note. Luckily, thank God, like, I'm not kidding. Like, obviously, I'm not a spokesperson for Fitbit. Like, I have a fucking tie-dye sheet behind me. But, like, for anyone that struggles with bipolar, I highly suggest getting, like, a Fitbit. I don't know if other brands, maybe Apple Watches, I don't give a fuck. But this has been extremely helpful for me to be able to track how many hours a night I'm sleeping. Like, this is honestly, like, a couple weeks ago when I was having a manic episode, I was actually able to be like, oh shit, this is when it started. This is when I got 4 hours of sleep, and then it continued to stay at 4. So I really suggest getting something that like can be synced up with the cloud and be able to tell you how much you're actually sleeping. But yeah, I'll notice that typical 8 or typical 7 hours of sleep will slowly dwindle to like 6 and then 5. And then if it's really bad, like 4. So the last really bad manic episode that I had, I want to say was back in January. And I missed an entire week of sleep. I think I was maybe only sleeping like 2 hours a night or something like that. But I remember I did the math. And I had missed an entire week of sleep. And then this past manic episode that is like finally starting to wind down as I make this video. I think I missed, well, as of a couple days ago, I only got like 2 days worth of sleep over the course of a week. So like not fun. Because basically, yeah, I have been sleeping about 4 hours a night, and I am on like prescribed sleeping pills that I only take when I have manic episodes, because that's what happens is I get really low amounts of sleep, but by some crazy combination in my brain, I'm still able to function and get through the days and not feel tired. So that's the number one flag to me, is I'm not getting as much sleep as I used to. Then second to that is usually the impulses start coming up. The impulses to spend, the impulses to steal things. I should call it the S impulses. Steal, spend, and have sex. I just thought of that. Look at me. But those are the impulses that I have, is that I do get a very hypersexual sex drive that it's not listed on here, and I'm not making this up. Like, this isn't like some big serious like personal reveal that like that's a thing. It happens. So that's another like red flag, that if I start getting like really hypersexualized thoughts in my mind, then I'll be like, okay, this isn't you. This is like an altered state of you that doesn't, it's just not, you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just an altered state. There's a reason that this is called like a mental illness. Like, all of these symptoms and the way that they affect me to a great enough degree that they impact my daily functioning. So when I'm saying like I'm hypersexual, that means like I'm not just like, yeah, sex sounds cool. It's more like I want to sleep with like the entire Bronx and then maybe part of Queens. Like, that's how revved up my sex drive can be. It's not fun. And who wants to deal with that? Honestly, not me, because that can lead you into dangerous or as it said, pleasurable activities, which can lead to like promiscuous sex. with a lot of people, which can be, you know, great for some people, but also very dangerous for in a plethora of reasons, like physically and like health wise. That can be very dangerous. And, you know, I can say on a very personal level that in the beginning of realizing that I had bipolar, I didn't understand the reason that I was acting the way that I was. I didn't understand why I was having all of these random like sexual urges, and I felt the need to, you know, apparently like depopulate the entire United States. I didn't understand it, and I judged myself, and I felt ashamed. But now that like I'm older and I've lived with this condition for, you know, knowingly 7 years, but I've dealt with this my whole life. I can't be mad at myself for those symptoms anymore, because obviously they are bad enough that they are classified under something that is considered a medical condition. So that's something personally that I've had to like come to terms with, that like, you know, if I realize I'm manic and I'm like, holy shit, like here come the intrusive thoughts in my head, is to not judge myself. And if for whatever reason I might act on these impulses that I have, is to try and remind myself that that's not me, Rylan, as a human being. I've never done this, but I'm going to say this as an example. Like, I would be able to look at a situation that maybe, like, again, haven't done this, swear to God, that if I, like, hooked up with someone in a Burger King parking lot while I was manic, that I would be able to step back and say, wow, that's really gross that you did that. Hope you got a Big Mac out of it, but, like, that's gross that you did that. But I'm able to step back and see that that's not me, Rylan, that was my disorder taking over for a little bit. So I've said enough about that. Let's move on. Another thing that happens with me is I am more talkative than usual. Hence this video. Sometimes it's worse than others, but at its absolute worst, I cannot shut the fuck up. I am constantly, it's not, I just, like, I will interrupt people. Like, I literally can't, I just can't stop talking. I'll interrupt people and then apologize for interrupting, but then, like, just keep talking, and I'm talking at, like, 5,000 miles a minute. It's really frustrating. It's stressful. Like, it's stressful to constantly be having all of this energy like behind me, just being like pushed forward into the earth. Because the way that I always describe having mania is it's like someone is standing behind me and they're just like pushing me forward, and like I can't do anything to stop it. So like these sexual urges that I'm having is someone pushing me forward. The increased need for me to talk rapidly is like not me. That's like being forced. Also, the flight of ideas that I have in my mind are constantly moving at like just insurmountable amount of speed in my head. Our thoughts going back and forth, and it talks increased goal directed activity. The way that looks like for me is I'll have like 800,000 million ideas in my head, and they'll just be going all over the place. But then maybe I'll like stick to one and I'll like hyper focus on that, and then I'll just put like all of this energy into this one idea for like 5 seconds, but then I have another one 10 seconds later. So I'm all over the place. So what this might look like is I'll be sitting watching TV, and this happened tonight. I was watching Broad City, and I was like, oh my God, I fucking love the show. I wonder what the bloopers would be like. So I like start typing in YouTube, Broad City bloopers. Before you know it, like 5 minutes later, I'm writing a song on the piano. And then after I'm done writing the song on the piano that I didn't like because none of the chords sounded right, I'm baking a cake in the kitchen. And then maybe an hour later, I'm like painting my nails. And then maybe 15 minutes later after that, I'm crying in a corner eating cookies. You don't know. It's just like you go from here to there to there to there. And it's just like it is nonstop. And it's exhausting. And again, like, let's rewind to what I said about not getting enough sleep. So you're constantly having all of this stimuli to push you forward that things that are not restful, the ideas and the talking a lot and and having all these plans to like write a fucking symphony, and I'm gonna make a new web series, and I'm gonna write a new book and all this shit. Like, when you add that on top of having maybe like 4 hours of sleep a night, it just makes things a lot worse. It makes things a lot worse. Besides that, because I think I talked about everything that affects me, the only thing that really doesn't affect me is, the distractibility. It says attention too easily drawn to unimportant or irrelevant details. Yeah, I mean, that happens. I'll be talking to someone and, like, I'll just be kind of like a squirrel that sees something shiny, and I'll be talking to them like, oh my God, do you see that red dress over there? But anyway, so I was talking to Sheila yesterday, and she was talking about all this crazy shit that Brandon was doing. Oh my God, do you see that guy over there? He's wearing this, like, shit like that. Like, it can be all over the place. It's too much. It's just too much. But then, to wrap it in a bow, the only thing that I don't believe I experience, because it's quite the opposite in my daily life, is inflated self-esteem or grandiosity. I hate myself. Anyone that watches my videos, anyone that knows me knows I don't like myself. So that's at least, that sucks that I don't get that symptom, at least, to think that I'm the greatest person on earth or think that I'm like the next Albert Einstein or Jesus Christ, because unfortunately, those are some delusions that people, when they have a full-blown manic episode, might have. They may believe that I'll go back to writing. I'm saying this because I have a piano behind my camera, that someone might think that, oh my God, I'm the next Mozart, and I'm going to write the next symphony that's going to like change the entire world, or I'm the next Kanye, I'm the next Beyonce, I'm going to write all of this stuff, and I'm going to change the entire face of music because I'm amazing, I'm a god, stuff like that. My mind doesn't go to that place. I think my mind is mostly like a stay down here and think that you're not very good type place. So unfortunately, my disorder doesn't allow me to break through the self-hatred wall. Bummer. That'd be cool. So those are symptoms of mania and hypomania. I hope this was informative, and if not, you get to see what one kind of looks like, because I'm still talking 17 minutes later. So, thank you for watching my video.